So I thought I'd do some research on this guy, Marc Agnifilo. He's the lead lawyer for Diddy. And I've been hearing that he's really bad, like he's a bad lawyer. I think I heard that on like two of the sites I listen to a lot, Murad Morelli and Tisa Tells. And I think both of them seem to think that he's not a great lawyer. So I thought I would do some, just look into him. I don't know anything about him, obviously. I've never heard of him. As I said, I don't know anything about criminal law and, these defense lawyers. I have no idea. But it sounds like he's a pretty experienced lawyer, right? Let's see, where did he go to school, first of all? Brooklyn Law School. Okay. American Jurisprudence, wonderful, outstanding performance in trial advocacy. Oh, that's not bad. Where's he admitted? Supreme Court. Oh, wow. Oh, okay, and he went to Connecticut College. Okay, so his name is Marc Agnifilo. Okay, so he didn't go to Harvard and he didn't go to Yale, but I wouldn't say that that makes him, sometimes these lawyers that go to these very top schools don't necessarily make the best, lawyers. I mean, they're very smart on paper and, books, but they're not necessarily what you need in a courtroom necessarily. Park Avenue. He's on Park Avenue. Oh wow. Oh wow. Yeah. Nice address, Mark. So let's see about mais pourquoi je ne peux pas mettre ça comme ça parce que c'est tout ça. Okay, so it says here that he has won acquittals in many of the most complex and difficult trials in America. I mean, that's good experience, right? In the last several years alone, he secured three complete acquittals in cases ranging from assault to international tax fraud to political corruption. And it says here he has tried more than 200 cases over his 30-year career, and that he is routinely hired in federal and state court in complex cases. Wow. It says here that he's a former supervisor at the United States Attorney's Office for the District of New Jersey and a former Manhattan Assistant District Attorney, right? So he has served on as lead trial counsel on complicated and serious criminal cases, investigations, and financial regulatory matters in U.S. district courts throughout the United States, in state courts in New York and New Jersey, and in other countries. Oh, wow. So it says here that generally he handles high stakes criminal cases and yada, yada, yada. Okay, look, so make a long story short, it sounds to me that this man is very experienced. Apparently, he used to work for, because I was looking at the Hollywood Reporter, and where is it? One second. The Hollywood Reporter, I think, is here. I was looking at the Hollywood Reporter, and it says that he's only been on his own for 1 year, though. Like, I mean, it's like he used to work for another firm for many, many decades, and now that he is out on his own, so I mean, that doesn't mean he's not good. I mean, it's just that he's been working with another firm, and he's only been out on his own less than a year even. So this is the Hollywood Reporter, the one that wrote that hit piece about Meghan Markle and about her being a bully last week or 2 weeks ago. So take it with a grain of salt. It says here Diddy's defender, how his legal team will fight down trafficking, racketeering charges. Apparently, you're not allowed to say the S word on YouTube. I had no idea. I had no idea. Okay. So anyway, so apparently, what I learned from this also is that the RICO charges has to do with the guns, the gun possession, and not so much with the freak offs, which would make better sense because the freak offs are definitely not a RICO violation, right? I mean, it's just completely stupid. I thought that they're saying that somehow the freak offs were, a RICO conspiracy to conspire with people in his office to traffic women. But apparently, it really goes more to the gun possession charge, which I don't understand. I mean, we have a Second Amendment in the United States. I mean, this guy, Diddy, is a billionaire. He has so much to lose. He has money. He has this, he has that. Why wouldn't he have had registered guns? I mean, why would he need to have illegal guns in his home? It doesn't make sense, right? According to his lawyer, it was those weren't even his guns. They were for the security team, and he has no idea, where they got the guns, and he doesn't know. For all he knows, I mean, when they were tipped off perhaps about the raid and somebody, put the guns there to incriminate him, but these aren't his guns. He doesn't have any illegal guns, right? At least so the story goes. So it says here, so Diddy trafficked women with the help of his business empire. His business empire helped him to traffic women. I mean, look, according to his lawyer, really, we're talking about one woman, and that would be Cassie, because the other women are not necessarily saying they were trafficked as much as they were saying that they were just assaulted by him. So, they placed themselves in his vicinity, and he allegedly assaulted them, like that woman in the band. But Danity Kane or whatever, but she referenced one of her friends from that same group, and that friend, in a People article that I read, refuted everything she said and said that her recollections do not match up and align with the Danity Kane character's recollection. So that's going to be interesting. Look, to some extent, you do have to admit that when big money is involved, a lot of people have like a distorted memory of the facts, or they try to rewrite history. Some people, I'm not saying everybody. So there's that, and one has to guard against that. But this is about Diddy's lawyer, right? It says here, Agnifilo, an ex-Manhattan assistant district attorney and former supervisor at the U.S. Attorney's Office, is known for spending nearly 2 decades working for Combs's longtime lawyer Ben Brafman, who has represented Harvey Weinstein on his boss's biggest cases. Dominique Strauss-Kahn and Martin Shkreli. I have no idea who the latter is. Combs's longtime lawyer is Ben Brafman. Lord have mercy. Okay, so Brafman is now in his 70s, and he's represented Combs for decades, according to the Hollywood Reporter. And so there've been a lot of lawsuits over the years that Combs has been involved in, and including the 1999 New York nightclub shooting case, right? So Agnofilo's boss handled that case. And it says here in the Hollywood Reporter that earlier this year, that is 2024, Agnifilo and two colleagues struck out on their own to form a boutique criminal law practice. He and another of the departing lawyers now leading Combs's defense, Terry Geragos, have a history of defending conspicuous figures accused of major crimes, including former Goldman Sachs managing director Roger Ning and Keith Raniere. Okay, whoever those people are. Okay, so that legal team brought together the who's who of criminal defense lawyers known for aggressive approaches in representing men accused of violent, S crimes. Let's put it that way, as Tisha would say. Yeah, she's like the authority on this case. I mean, I'm like, oh my God. She I mean, if you leave it to Tisa, you just like throw Diddy into a dungeon cell and just throw away the key. Don't even bother going through the process of a trial. But anyway, she thinks that this guy, Agnifilo, is a really bad attorney. I don't know what she's basing that on. I don't know if she herself is a lawyer. Sometimes it sounds like she might be or might have been. Um, so I mean, I'm sure she has her reason for thinking he's a really bad lawyer. I mean, let's put it this way. I mean, you offered $50 million to get your client out on bail, and two judges basically just, yawned pretty much. So how skilled are you? And the answer to that is I really don't know how to answer that question. It's a lot of money, and it maybe to me smacks of desperation, but according to Tisa, it wasn't enough because Billy, not Billy, what is his name? Diddy, Billy, Billy Joel. No, Billy, no, jeez, come on. Diddy is a billionaire, according to Tisa, and so 50 million was not enough. I disagree with that, though, fundamentally. I mean, I'm not an expert myself. I don't really know all of these people, these moving parts, the backstory, all the history of this man, and all the horrors he seems to have committed. But I think 50 million dollars is a lot of money by any definition of the word. And in fact, I think it was too much. I think if they had offered 50,000 to start, I mean, it would look more confident, like they're more confident in his innocence than offering 50 million, Sometimes you have to think counterintuitively, I think, in this kind of a situation. And so I think offering 50 million was a red flag. I mean, in putting up his house and his mother's house and this, that, and the third is probably what just sparked, a red flag to both judges. It's too much money, and it seems like he knows he's guilty and he's desperate. But Tisa doesn't agree with that. So I mean, Tisa, I don't know how much she seems to have a lot of connections and in the story and so on. So I don't know, but I don't think that it was about the money. I think that they threw the book at him because they're disgusted. And a lot of this disgust comes from those, that video where he was seen in that hotel assaulting his ex-girlfriend Cassie. Although at this point, I'm not even sure if Cassie was ever his girlfriend or if she was really one of those paid sex workers that they keep talking about, because was she a girlfriend at this point? I mean, I don't even know. I'm not sure. I think we'll see that as the case, is tried, because I mean, is this a girlfriend? I don't know. I mean, you have six different men come to your home to have intimate relations with your girlfriend in front of you. Who does that with a girlfriend? Who does that? It's very bizarre. It's very bizarre. So I don't know that she was ever his girlfriend. I mean, it sounds like she was always, at least in his mind, a sex worker. That's how he treated her, as a sex worker, right? And so the issue is going to be really what, first of all, was the real nature of their relationship. Anyway, according to the Hollywood Reporter, it says here, expect Agnifilo to go on the offensive. The women and sex workers who engaged with Combs did so consensually for their own reasons, whether that was money, career advancement, or romantic interest in the megastar. So yeah, it's really a question of what was their real relationship. I mean, the girl, Ventura, Cassie probably had romantic interest in Puffy. I don't know that Puffy ever had romantic interest in Cassie. It just doesn't seem very romantic, how he treated her. So it's a question of how did they both view their relationship, and was there a fundamental difference in how they viewed their relationship, and was that the basis for them um not being together anymore, for example. All of that I think is relevant to this case, to understand, for example, why did she accept $30 million from him as a payoff when she brought the civil suit, rather than go to the district attorney from the beginning to make a criminal complaint for being trafficked, as it seems that they're saying is the case at this point. I mean, they went from her being his girlfriend to her being trafficked. So was she his girlfriend, or was she trafficked? Was she his girlfriend, or was she one of those paid sex workers? What was the nature of their relationship all throughout the 10 years they were together? Was this about money? Did he pay her money? How much and when and under what circumstances did he pay her money? Did he promise her career advancement in exchange for these acts? It seems like she was some kind of singer, or she was signed to his record label, apparently. What was the nature of their relationship? I mean, that's very important. But again, I digress. We're talking about the lawyer here, the guy, Marc Agnifilo, and whether he's a bad lawyer. Um, I don't know if he's a bad lawyer. I don't know what a bad lawyer is. I can't tell. I do think the fact that, he offered $50 million and couldn't get his client out is not a good sign, right? It's not a good sign. I do think that, that's really for me the biggest red flag so far. It's going to now left to be seen what happens next. Like, what motions, for example, does he file? Does he try to exclude that video? I think that the video in the hotel um is highly prejudicial. I mean, based on that video, I think 99% of people who saw that video think he should be thrown in prison and throw away the key for the rest of his life. And clearly what we have in that video, at a minimum, maybe at a maximum, for all we know, is a domestic violence situation. If they were boyfriend girlfriend, you have a man beating up his girlfriend, which is terrible. But it's not sex trafficking, and it's not prostitution, and it's not racketeering, which are the charges that this man faces, right? And these types of crimes, the three latter ones, have a different jail, time than domestic battery, right? Or domestic assault. So it's very important to establish what is the relationship between these two people, and what has been the relationship between these two people for the past 10 years, right? And then we have to figure out, how do you classify this video that was shown, and whether this video even comes in to prove what? To prove what, right? I mean, is it coming in to prove the racketeering? Is it coming in to prove the sex trafficking? Or is it coming in to prove the transportation for prostitution? Or is it just coming in because it's so explosive, and it just makes him such a revolting person that people will say he's guilty of everything, no matter what the evidence is to the contrary? I think that that video is so highly prejudicial that if this guy, Marc Agnifilo, is worth the money he's being paid, the first thing he needs to do is to get that video excluded, right? He needs to do a motion to, to exclude it. And if he can't pull that off, then maybe I don't think he's such an amazing lawyer. And if he pulls it off, I think he's an amazing lawyer, because it's going to be hard to pull that off, right? So anyway, that's it for this one. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye.